This is a reminder of what it does when you hammer a people into poverty, when you hammer those people into situations of trauma due to racist policies and leave them absolutely absent of economy, hope, possibility. This is what this looks like.
As Canadians try to make sense of the mass killings at James Smith Cree Nation and Weldon, some are urging people to understand the role generational trauma played.
It's not in any way a defense. It's just simply a reality that these are traumatized individuals who are taking their trauma out on others.
Miles Sanderson and his brother Damien Sanderson are identified as suspects in the killings. Parole board documents show the brothers were brought up in environments which included physical abuse and domestic violence. Miles is reported to have begun abusing alcohol as a preteen and cocaine by age 14 as coping mechanisms.
The profound racism that Indigenous peoples experience throughout the prairies leads to situations like this, in which young Indigenous peoples grow up in a great deal of trauma, and they cope with that trauma through addictions. And what leads that to a long history of experiences with the justice system. And with that justice system comes more trauma, more anger, more resentment, in which Indigenous peoples sometimes take that out on our own families, but then also take that out on nearby people as well.
Oppression, colonialism has become a way of life for Indigenous people, and I think that's why we need to be able to start acknowledging, the past and move forward together.
Sol Mamakwa, one of the leading Indigenous voices in the Ontario Parliament, makes no excuses for the violence, but notes that the wounds of colonization run deep. Negan Sinclair adds that colonization in the prairies only happened a century and a half ago, with the effects still felt on Indigenous families today.
It's going to take some time, but I think to learn about the history, acknowledge that, and I think that's where change starts. And I think, again, as nations, as provinces, as a country, we need to come together, start with, James Smith Cree Nation right now.
In Ottawa, Xiaoli Lee, City News.